Earlier in the year, I asked you guys what were the worst 6 Pokemon in Pokemon Gold, Silver and Crystal. And these are the 6 that you guys determined are the worst 6 Pokemon in this entire generation. So that leads me to think, can these 6 terrible Pokemon actually be able to complete Pokemon Gold? So let's get started. Got a whole load of other rules in the description as well, but let's get started with this run now. Yeah, this is going to be a difficult run. What makes some of these Pokemon really bad? I mean, the likes of it, we are going to pick a Pichu to start off with, just to give ourselves a little bit of an easier time against the first gym. But one of the reasons why the likes of Tyrogue is bad is because via level up it only learns Tackle. Same with Delibird, it only learns Present. And that's one of the rules for today. We are only going to see if these Pokemon can complete this game by only using their level up movesets as well, just to make it even harder on myself. So yeah, why do we start off with Pichu? Well, Pichu starts off with the move Thundershock, which is super effective against the first gym. After that, we probably won't be able to get another worst Pokemon for a little while, but actually thinking about it, there is one more that was on that list that you can get just before the first gym. And that Pokemon is going to be Unknown. Now, Unknown is terrible. I've proven that with the with an Unknown only team. But yeah, Unknown is terrible. And we're going to have to rely as well on whether we get a good hidden power type. But I am only going to pick the very first Unknown that I actually catch. Which makes this even more difficult, because if it turns out that I get, for example, the grass type, which I think was one of the worst hidden powers, then yeah, we're going to have a real struggle on our hands. So yeah, Pichu might be honestly our biggest player in this run. Handsomely, you are our Pichu for today, and for our rival, we are going to go with L. Irvin. Thank you for subscribing, you guys. Welcome to the channel. Let's get properly started off with this run. So with Pichu also losing to the Chikorita, we lost out on some experience there. Not the worst thing. We can go against optional Pokemon if we really wanted to. But yeah, moving through to Violet City, we will move into the Ruins of Alph. Solve the Kabuto puzzle, which if you've never been able to do this before, just watch what I'm doing on screen and you'll be able to complete it. Little trick, the bottom 2 tiles where the feet are, they sometimes are a little not obvious as to which side they should actually be on. The eyes as well, if the eye is on the left, then it goes on the left, right on the right. But yeah, sometimes the little feet on the bottom also make a problem. And the Unknown we pick up is an Unknown B. This one here, we don't know what its hidden power type is, but it hit us neutrally. So we're going to have to try and figure out what actual hidden power type we've got. Now, if you watch my Unknown only run, you will have seen the explanation of how to figure out your hidden power type. And following that alone, we start off with going against the Psychic type. And what we actually figured out is that our hidden power is actually hidden power Ghost. We made sure, yeah, we could hit bugs neutrally, which is fine, but yeah. We also made sure we can go against poison types, it was neutral as well, and it led me to go all the way back to the Ruins of Alph to double check against a Psychic type. John Berg, you are going to be our Unknown for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Welcome to the channel. As you see here, super effective. Out of all the options that we had, it turned out it was Hidden Power Ghost, which will be very useful, but not in the gym when all the flying types are normal flying types. So yeah, this is why we are really relying on Pichu here. Thankfully, we get a paralysis on the Spearow, meaning we can outspeed and take it out in 3 Thundershocks. But without having hidden power to work with, what we're going to have to do is get rid of all of our hidden power PP and rely on Struggle for Unknown. Yes, Struggle is still allowed in this run because there's not really much else that you can use, and technically every Pokemon can learn it on their moveset, it's just when you run out of PP. So Falconer, of course, we're going to start off with John Berg just to try and take out this Pidgey, because after this there's not really much it can do when all it's doing is struggle and taking itself down in damage. Pidgeotto will come in and finish it off, and that just leaves Handsomely our Pichu. We've hit a Thunder Wave, which gives us a lot to work with, and then we get put on 3 HP thanks to tackles and taken down. This is already going to be a very hard fight. We try it again though. I think if we get at least 1 paralysis proc on the Pidgeotto, we should be okay. Plus this time we actually managed to survive with John Berg with a little bit more HP to work with. So again, we go straight for the Thunder Wave. We are taking 11 points of damage because Pichu's defense is terrible. And because of the paralysis, we managed to get the win. So there we go. At least the two of the worst Pokemon can actually beat the first gym before the level cap. That then brings us to the next town, Azalea Town. But of course, we also have Union Cave to deal with. Thankfully, with Hidden Power Ghost, it's not too bad. We can actually get through the rock ground types that are there. We also need to deal with Sprout Tower so we can get the move Flash. And that'll only be literally for the late game, and we will not be using Flash apart from as a HM. But because we are sticking with these Pokemon as well, I will need one of these Pokemon as a Flash user later on, right at the end. Sagely is not too much of a problem with a Pichu. We're matching at level 10, and thankfully, we've got enough bulk to work with to take down the majority of his Pokemon. We get down to 4 HP, and this is looking a bit bad here. We do 1 Tail Whip to lower its defense, because Ghost is physical in this generation. Hidden Power gets us the win there. Again, next up is going to be Union Cave with the rock ground types. I'm going to send John Berg in for these just because Hidden Power Ghost will hit these pretty hard. Not massively hard. I mean, these are the worst Pokemon, but still. We can still deal out some damage. I can't even give myself Mud Slap this time round. We have to rely on these moves that we have. Onyx will go down eventually after a couple of hidden powers, and we're at level 13, level 14, 15 as we go into the Slowpoke Well side quest. Slowpoke Well is not too much of a problem between the two of them, and struggle on Unknown. We can get through the majority of the Pokemon pretty easily. Also, Pichu has now learnt Sweet Kiss, but you might be wondering as well, what other moves can we learn for a Pichu? Well, not much else after this. Pichu has pretty much learned all its level up movesets already by level 14. Which is one of the reasons why I determined it was one of the worst Pokemon to have. It's got incredibly low base stats, it's basically a glass cannon, and its movesets, you don't get anything higher than a base 40 power. So let's see how we do against Bugsy. Bugsy, of course, he has got a Cypher with Fury Cutter. Now, if we can just at least take out his other Pokemon with John Berg here, that would be perfect. We at least do a little bit of chip damage, but Cypher comes out second and does massive damage with Fury Cutter. And a third turn Fury Cutter is a one-shot on Pichu. We're already at the level cap here. So what do we do differently? Well, we start off with Pichu this time. We get Sweet Kiss off, we get Thunder Wave off. That'll help us mitigate some of the incoming damage by hopefully them hitting themselves, or Paralysis procs hitting them, well, debilitating them as well. Kakuna is out second, and ideally I kind of want to keep Pichu with as much HP as possible, but John Berg just can't stand up to a Cypher. So what can we do here? Well, as soon as Cypher comes in, it will go for Quick Attack and put us on 2 HP. Quick Attack then takes us out, and we are relying on Hidden Power because it's bug flying. It technically we technically can hit the Cypher, and then we get unbelievable luck here. Paralysis hits 3 times in the row on the Cypher, debilitating it completely, and we get a win with Unknown. I think we're probably going to have to rely on a lot of luck like that leading throughout the rest of this run, because getting 3 paralysis in a row, that's really, really unlikely. That brings us to the next fight, which of course is against El Irvin here for the Azalea Town rival fight. We switch into Unknown, where Hidden Power Ghost is super effective, and then we move into Zubat. If we can take out the Zubat as well with Unknown, that'd be perfect. And you know what, Hidden Power Ghost, probably one of the mid-tier better Hidden Powers to get in this generation. I've listened to a couple of your comments in the on the previous video with the Unknown only run, and I think the consensus is either Hidden Power Rock or Hidden Power Dragon seem to be most consistently good, because there's a lot of things that it hits neutrally, especially with the Dragon type, so it may be the one we go for when we eventually do an Unknown solo run. When we get through to the Bayleaf, we are on very low HP, and both Paralysis and Confusion Look get us through the fight first time. Very, very lucky, these two Pokemon. Now, I think it's time that we add a third Pokemon to the team. So, out of the other 6 Pokemon that we looked at, Igglybuff has got terrible stats. It's extremely slow as well. And in terms of level up moveset, it's as bad as Pichu's, really. So, I think it's fair to put it on the worst 6 Pokemon. It's got decent HP, but it is a baby Pokemon. Jabanian, you are going to be our Igglybuff for today, and without, as it goes saying as well, there are going to be no evolutions in this run. It is just their base forms that we worked with. And of course, I think everyone kind of expected this one to be on the worst team. It is of course Sunkern. Now Sunkern, yes, it's a monograss type, yes, it's got terrible base stats. It might also be one of the best players on our team, and that's purely for its level up moveset that it does get. It does get Leech Seed, it does get recovery moves, so this might be a big player in our team, but grass is terrible in Johto. Ben Levi, you are our Sunkern for this run. Thank you for subscribing, mate, and welcome to the channel. With these 4 Pokemon though, I think it's time that we go and take on Whitney. So one of the better things about Sunkern is the fact it does get the move Growth, which means we can set up and increase our special attack. Igglybuff does get the move Sing, which only has 55% accuracy, never guaranteed to hit very often. But as soon as Pokemon are asleep, we can then switch into Ben Levi. Hopefully we can then Growth up, get +6 special attack, Mega Drain, and one shot from there. Manage to take back 34 HP, and then stomp one shots us from there because our defenses are awful. But we still have 3 Pokemon to work with. We switch into our Igglybuff, hoping to get the Sweet Kiss off, but Rollout puts us on 3 HP. From there, we're going to try and charm its attack into the ground. Because the next 2 Pokemon out, we've got our Pichu, who is not doing too well here. We managed to Sweet Kiss and Thunder Wave, but Thunder Shock is just chipping away at it. Like, look at how bad this is. We managed to get it to -6 attack. It hits itself in Confusion, which in its sense might have been the worst thing we could have done. And then John Berg we brought in after getting rid of all hidden powered PP, so we could struggle for a victory. So it took all 4 of our Pokemon to take down that Miltank. And we just still managed to do that at the level cap, which I'm impressed by. But we are relying so heavily on status moves to make this work. Like, incredible amount of status moves to make this work. Thankfully we get a wide variety of them. If we got Poison, that would be even better. That brings us over to Ecruteak City, and you know what? John Berg is just going to be an absolute powerhouse here. Hidden Power Ghost hits everything super effectively. The Ghost types in this gym as well are very defensively weak, so physical attacking type like Ghost honestly just shreds them to pieces. It does get taken down though because of too many licks. Ghost is super effective against Psychic, of course, and Unknown is a mono Psychic. Handsome Marie though gets the Thunder Shocks in for the win, and yeah, considering we've just done the babies only run as well, where honestly I trashed on Pichu a lot. Pichu's been the biggest reliable player on this team so far, just for the fact it can get paralysis off. It's okay fast. Yeah. But this is not a team that you would normally see a makeup of. Let's see how we do against the rival in the Burnt Tower before we go for Morty. We get mean looks by the Haunter, we've confused and paralysed it, and then we get paralysed ourselves thanks to Lick and Handsome Refalls. Not a great start, but we can Hidden Power for the win there. And then they bring out Magnemite. Now we really don't have anything to work with to take on the likes of Steel types in this generation. We've got enough to take down the likes of Steelix because we have grass type moves with Sunkern, but John Berg and Ghost type just not really working here for us. We bring in Ben Levi, of course, can Mega Drain for the win there. That then brings in Zubat, which we are weak against, so we have to switch into our Igglybuff. If we can get the Sing off, we can then start setting up, lowering attack, but we can't recover our HP. Igglybuff has already got all the moves it will get for the rest of this run. We've managed to finally get a Sweet Kiss off. Both Sweet Kiss and Sing have got terrible accuracy. And then Pound is the only proper attacking move that we have. A 40 base Normal type move, which with Stab isn't the worst thing, but still, not great. Now this is an interesting matchup. Because we are using Growths and we resist grass type moves, as soon as a Razor Leaf hits us, we've got enough Growths up where we can start resisting the hits. But in this fight, it's just not enough, so I'm going to go for the gym fight now. We might try the rival again afterwards, but at this level, probably not worth us doing again. Morty, of course, he's got 4 Ghost types, all from the Ghastly line. 2 Haunters, a Ghastly, and a Gengar. John Berg, as long as we can keep John Berg alive and take down as many Pokemon as possible, which doesn't happen because the first Haunter actually takes us out. And that's annoying because we pushed John Berg up to level 25 as well. We get cursed straight away, but thankfully Mean Look's not hit us. We get put to sleep straight away, so we need to switch out again. And then Curse puts Haunter on such low HP, it then starts going for the Nightshades. I'm already imagining we're probably going to have to reset here, but I'm surprised we've got this far into the run and we haven't had too many resets, in all honesty. They're all starting to come in the mid-game. Sunkern is completely useless in this fight, it just can't do anything with Mega Drain or Absorb. So yeah, this is a reset. Let's see if we get a little bit better luck against the Ghastly this time. We don't get paralysed on the first turn, meaning Hidden Power Ghost can then take out the first Haunter. That brings in Gengar, and I know that Hypnosis is coming, or a Shadow Ball, so that if we can get the Gengar to sleep ourselves and then Sweet Kiss it, it's confused and put to sleep, we can then lower its attack with Charm so that Shadow Ball does barely anything. From there, it's on -6, we can then try and get back to sleep, which honestly, I was amazed that it even hit there, considering Hypnosis has the exact same accuracy. And then we bring John Berg back in for Hidden Power Ghost. Honestly, if we'd not got Hidden Power Ghost, this run probably wouldn't have been doable whatsoever. If I was going to do it with Hidden Power Grass, honestly, I'd have torn my hair out and told you this video wouldn't even happen. I've got to give myself something with the worst 6 Pokemon to work with. Beating Morty, we can then progress on to the next town, but again, I want to see if we can actually beat this rival in the Bird Tower. This is an optional fight, so it's not mandatory if I do beat him or not, but it's a good indicator of how the rest of this run can go with the rival fights. So we beat the first Haunter pretty comfortably and switch out so we don't take curse damage. Switching into Ben Levi here is not a problem because we can resist electric type moves. And set up growths as much as we can, getting a Mega Drain ready for when we've taken too much from Sonic Boom. Again, didn't really work in our favour, and I don't think Sunkern's actually won a fight yet. We bring in our Wigglybuff who can put it to sleep, Sweet Kiss it into confusion, and then just pound away over multiple turns till eventually it will fall to a Thundershock at some point. We do manage to get it back down into sleep and pound it into the ground, just leaving 2 Pokemon. That's the Zubat. If we can tank 1 hit, which we managed to do, but then we were flinched, we would have had more of a chance here. Thundershock is perfect on the Zubat, so Pichu again showing how good it is. We Thunder Wave the Bayleaf, we Sweet Kiss it, and very lucky that we actually hit both of them first time. After that, we just go for Thundershocks, just chipping away at it, and Bayleaf just can't do anything. It was hitting itself with confusion so much. But now the Razor Leafs start coming out, we're trying to put it on as low HP as possible. One final Sweet Kiss, and then we Thundershock for hopefully John Berg to come in and just clean up after that. That was very hard and very well fought. I'm honestly debating right now whether we need to put a 5th team member on the team for the next gym fights coming up, because each of our Pokemon here are incredibly squishy, and I mean incredibly squishy. I'm pretty sure that Unknown has the best defense out of all 3 of these in base stats, but I can't even guarantee that. Sunkern's base stat total is only 180, which is, I think, as low, like it's the lowest BST Pokemon in all of Pokemon to this day, apart from Wishy-Washy when it's not in its schooling form. Yeah, that's how bad it is. It took until the 7th generation before another Pokemon as lower powered than Sunkern actually came about, and that only happened because it's got itself a unique form which increased its attack. So Sunkern is still technically the lowest base stat total Pokemon if you don't count the schooling form of Wishy-Washy. By the way, Wishy-Washy, what a terrible name for a Pokemon. I really don't like Gen 7. Gen 7 is by far my most hated generation in all of Pokemon. It is, and also to this day, the only Pokemon series where I've not been able to complete, or not even, I've not completed the main game. Literally the only region that I've not completed the main game, and that's because it was boring. Unbelievably boring. And I know there's a lot of people in watching this video and in the comments who love Gen 7, but for me it was just unbelievably boring. Like, they took out the gyms, they put in these bloody trials. It's just not an enjoyable experience. Really wasn't. Thankfully, Gen 8 and 9 made it a lot better, so, you know, I'm not too bothered about that. But also, who gives a crap about Z moves as well? I've talked a lot there about my hate for Gen 7. Let's see how we do against Chuck, and we get destroyed by his Primeape very, very quickly. Good thing... Well, not a good thing, we just got destroyed by Karate Chops all the... Oh my god, this is a whitewash. Good thing the level cap's level 29. Okay, we'll push him up to level 29, like 27, 29. And still we can't even outspeed that Primeape. This is looking really bad. So, if we can Sweet Kiss it, confuse it, its decent attack would mean that it would then deal a massive damage to itself. But because it was still hitting Karate Chops, I went for the Charms. After that, we bring in John Berg. We get very lucky with a critical hit there, bringing in the Poliwrath for the first time. And then Surf does decent damage on us before we only get one hidden power out. But that's fine, because we actually did this intentionally to leave Ben Levi till last. This is one of the very few good matchups for a grass type in this entire generation. He misses so many dynamic punches, we set up a lot with growth, and we managed to Mega Drain twice for the win. As long as you leave Sunkern till last, you can still do this fight with these 4 terrible Pokemon. That means we can now head back to Olivine City with 5 gym badges in our pocket, and we will go over to the Lighthouse where we need to go and throw the secret potion into Amphi's face, and then head into the next gym fight. But considering the level jump that we'll have, it might be better to go over to Price first and try and do the Rocket side quest first. But Handsome Marie is already at level 28. We don't have many levels to work with, and it's still one of our most consistent Pokemon, Pichu. Heading up to the top of the Lighthouse, we give him the secret potion, and we start to make our decision as to whether we will take on this next gym or not. Now, if we added another Pokemon to the team, most likely it's going to be Tyrogue. And as I said earlier, the last 2 Pokemon we can add to our team are both terrible in their level up movesets. So, Tyrogue only ever learns the move Tackle. Yeah, that's it. It can learn different things via TMs, but in level up wise, it can only learn Tackle, which is awful. It really is awful. Tackle doesn't even have 100% accuracy. The other Pokemon, Delibird, we will only be able to catch after we have beaten 7 gyms. But considering you would only get Tyrogue from the Karate King if you actually went to go get the gift Tyrogue, yeah, I'm not waiting until after 8 gyms with these 4 Pokemon, so I think it might be time for us to add in a Tyrogue to the team. I mean, we already are struggling right now against just a red Gyarados, and there are more Gyarados coming up in the rest of this run. Jibjayan got very, very lucky in this. We got a Sweet Kiss off, we got Paralysis off with Pichu, and then it pounded it into the ground. Lance looks at us, thinks, "Guy, what is this guy on if he is using this sort of team?" And then asks us to help him with something. Trying to prove that we can actually do this, he seems to look at our goal and just admires the fact we're even trying. Honestly, I'm really impressed that the team's got to this point and not had to overlevel. Really, really impressed. When we're against a lot of the Rockets, we don't worry too much. Ben Levi can tank quite a bit, especially against the likes of Zubats. Leech Life's not doing all too much, but we can Mega Drain more damage out with +6 growth than they can actually deal to us. Coffin comes out next, and it doesn't really have great specials, so... Ooh, Sludge is super effective though, I always forget about that. Sunkern is mono grass, it's not grass poison, which also means we take 2 times damage from poison type attacks, which there's a lot of in this generation. Another reason why this Pokemon landed on the worst 6 Pokemon. If you think though that there is one Pokemon that is worse than these 6 in this generation, let me know down in the comments, because you probably weren't there when we actually did this poll on the channel. Yeah. The reason why we chose this specific team is because we did a poll on the channel and these were the 6 most agreed that would be the worst. So, yeah, that's why we're going with this team. But if you've got another team makeup that you would like me to do a run with, just let me know down in the comments as well. I'm always looking for ideas for videos. In the Rocket Hideout, of course, we just have 1 Rocket left to fight before we can then progress into the gym. Once you've opened the door, we have to go against one of these two rockets, the Executive, who jumps down below, and she's got an Arbok, a Gloom, and a Murkrow. Now, none of these are normally that much of a threat, but with this team, one hit can pretty much put you under half HP incredibly quickly. Even with Igglybuff having a decent HP stat, its defenses are really garbage. Really, really garbage. We pound it into the ground, and then the Gloom gets brought out, thankfully. With having the moves that it does actually get, the very few moves it gets, Igglybuff is quite a good player on this team. Sing, of course, is good because you want to get them to sleep. Confusion as well means they just start doing damage themselves. Charm if we really want them to have lower attack for one of our later Pokemon. It's a decent all-rounder, same as Pichu. Yeah, Pichu and Igglybuff probably are the big main players of this team. Really are the big main players. Now, last year I did a challenge where I tried to beat Pokemon Blue using the 5 worst Pokemon of that generation, which turned out to be Caterpie, Metapod, Kakuna, Weedle, Magikarp, and we failed that challenge. The only way I completed that challenge was by adding in a Ditto. Like, we were level 100 by the time we reached the league, and we still weren't managing to get through. So a Ditto at level 70 helped us get to victory, but I did class that as a fail. So I'm really hoping that doesn't happen in this challenge as well. So we go against Price, the 7th gym leader in canonical order, but he is our 6th challenge here. Ben Levi goes down pretty quickly. Ice it's strong against grass. We managed to get the Seal to sleep. We've taken half damage on Igglybuff, and we just pound it into the ground, but this is the Seal. This is his weakest Pokemon, and he has the move Rest, which just makes this even worse, because we don't have much PP to work with on a lot of our moves. We need to keep him confused, we need to keep him asleep, so that he can't recover his HP, but we can keep ours up. Doesn't really happen though. This is only his second his first Pokemon, and we're already down to our 3rd. Pichu comes in to clean up, and Piloswine comes out next, so we're going to need to switch out to John Berg, who, for some reason, Piloswine goes for Mist. Icy Wind then hits and does tons of damage, and then Blizzard just sweeps us. Thunder Wave can't hit ground types, which I was panicking and forgot about, and we take an L against Price. Yeah. Not very often we take an L against Price. That is testament how bad this team is, because Price is a terrible gym leader. He doesn't even use all of the ice types you can get in Johto. He uses Seal and Dugong, which are both Cantonian Pokemon, both water-iced Pokemon. But then he uses Piloswine, which is fine, but think about it, there's the likes of Sneasel to use, there's Delibird that he could use, and neither of them 2 ice types he actually uses, which really, it's just another thing about Johto where all of the gym leaders seem to have Cantonian Pokemon over Johtonian Pokemon, and it really annoys me in a lot of ways. I'd be interested in playing a ROM where they've changed all of the gym leads to have only Johtonian Pokemon. In fact, I would be very happy if in Gen 10, when they eventually release that, they only have the gym leaders. They basically do a Gen 5, where they increase the Pokédex by a lot of Pokemon, a lot of new Pokemon, and then they only use those new Pokemon. Honestly, I would love for that to happen again, because Gen 5 was fantastic for that reason alone. I know it was very controversial that until Black and White 2 they didn't introduce any past Pokemon into it from previous generations, but I really loved that you started a new region in Gen 5 and you had none of the previous Pokemon. You had no bias over which mascots were included. You just had the new Pokemon and you had to figure it out from there. I absolutely loved that. I think it really worked well. Eventually, Ben Levi gets us the win against Price. And we've got 6 gym badges, but we need to go and get the 7th from Jasmine. Going back to Gen 5, considering that happened at Gen 5 and the next generation out is Gen 10, do you think it actually could be possible that they would actually do that again, where every 5 generations they reset, they do a Pokédex where they only have new Pokemon? That would be amazing, I think. Okay, let's see how we do against Jasmine. I'm going to start off with Igglybuff, who at least manages to get Magnemite to sleep. My aim in this is to then start growthing, but he wakes up immediately and critical hits our Sunkern. This is off to a terrible start. But we are only at level 30 for a lot of our Pokemon. We still can go up to the level cap, but still, man. this first Magnemite is tearing through my team. We've got no moves to really work with this thing. This might be the right time to add in Tyrogue to the party. So yeah, let's go do that. Let's add in Tyrogue to the party. I've used a Game Shark code to find it here, and I think you guys will forgive me for using a Game Shark code here, but come on, I'm not going past this gym to then try and find it. Eddie Joestar, you are going to be our Tyrogue for today. I know you've been on quite a few videos recently, but your name's quite fun for being Pokemon. Let's go see how we do with this Tyrogue. And as I said earlier, Tyrogue can only learn one move, so its usefulness is very limited, but at least it could be it can be used to chip away at a bit of HP before getting taken down. Also, it can waste a bit of PP, so that's my main gimmick really for using the Tyrogue here. When we bring in our Igglybuff, we managed to get Magnemite straight to sleep and Sweet Kiss it, so that's a perfect scenario to start off with. We've pushed our entire team up to level 35 as well. After this, if we can't do it with this team, we might as well class this as a fail. But so far, we've managed to get to 7th gym and not class this run as a fail. Gen 2 is a lot easier than Gen 1 in a lot of ways. But in the same vein, Gen 1 is a lot harder than Gen 2. I think for challenges like this, I think it's a lot easier in Gen 2 than it is in Gen 1. I mean, Gen 1, there are less moves to work with as well. I mean, Weedle and Caterpie, they only get 2 moves ever. They can't even learn Bide. Kakuna and Metapod, they can only learn Harden via level up if you evolved them from a Caterpie and a Metapod. A Magikarp can only learn Tackle and Splash. That's why we struggled so much. I mean, we managed to get past Lavender Tower with Weedle because it had Poison Sting. But when it came to later game, when you've got the likes of Rhydons you're against as well, and you need to poison them to even get through, it was a nightmare. We were relying on struggles so much in the late game. But we still managed to do it, even though the challenge was a fail, because we had to add in a 6th Pokemon. Anyway, now we've finally got back through to the Steelix. We've lowered its attack massively. We've increased ours by growth. Can Mega Drain finish off this Steelix? And you know what? Yes, it can. After we've managed to recover some HP, and we've burnt through the Hyper Potion. Critical Hit gets us the win. Ben Levi gets us yet another gym win in this region. And we also pick up the move Iron Tail, which we're not going to be using because that's a TM and no TMs allowed. Yes, if you're only joining at this part of the video, we are only doing this with their level up movesets. We are not including TMs to the Pokemon. Just making this even harder. But I'm still really impressed we've managed to get 7 badges and we're heading through the Rocket side quest again. So this guy at the top of the radio tower, he's got the weirdest team ever. 5 Coffins and 1 Weezing. Who thought this was a good team to give to someone was really, really smoking something one day. We sack our first Tyrogue by baiting it into using self-destruct. That was perfect. We actually wanted that. Handsomely comes out next, and we've managed to get it paralysed, confused, and Thundershocked. It's going to take a few Thundershocks to take it down, and we're actually in the lead right now with the amount of Pokemon left. We Thunderwave the next Coffin, and it takes down Handsomely with just 1 Sludge. So we bring in John Berg, who's pretty good against poison types because Psychic is resisted by poison. Or poison, yeah, whichever way you say it round, you guys know what I mean. And Hidden Power Ghost is honestly a bit of a lifesaver sometimes. Because of the smoke screens, we're not hitting every single time. Sludge is dealing that massive damage to us, and now we're on the back burner. Jasmine has got a lot of HP to work with. It can tank enough hits just from the HP stat alone, even though its defenses are pretty garbage. It can sing Pokemon to sleep, it can then Sweet Kiss them into confusion, and Pound just chips away until we can actually get the win. Now we do have 1 Pokemon left in the backup, so if we do take an explosion to the face, at least we can then try and salvage it with our last Pokemon. But with Sunkern being Mono Grass, that's not looking very likely against a powerful poison type Pokemon. This Weezing manages to hit itself in confusion. We keep it asleep as well, and the amount of times it hits itself in confusion there gives us 1 more pound to take it down. Igglybuff goes up level 36, and there's just his final Pokemon left. The worst thing that can happen here is we get poisoned. That's what we don't want to see. We really don't want to see that poison happening. So once we finally get it to sleep, and this is a second attempt, by the way, if you saw that little jump in the HP, I've spliced together the wrong 2 clips. We actually had to try that multiple times, and that was the winning attempt. Igglybuff was paramount to that attempt. So, beating the Rocket side quest, or at least part of it, we now need to go and fight the rival one more time. And this is going to be a tough one. We know that he's going to start off with a Golbat in this fight, because we've done enough challenges now to know which Pokemon he starts off with. So if he starts off with Golbat, what's going to be the best matchup? It's probably going to be the Pichu, because it's hit super effectively with Thundershock. But maybe if we started off with Unknown, we can try and bait him into using a different Pokemon after that. Maybe the Haunter. Tyrogue, using Tackle on its own. This is probably the only fight it's going to win in this entire run. Bless you, Eddie Joestar. Sorry for making you such a terrible Pokemon, but someone needed to be, and you were the latest person on the list to be added onto the video. So from here, we can then fight our rival. This underground fight is mandatory. You cannot get around it whatsoever. Let's see how we do. So, like I said, he's going to start off with his Golbat. We're going to go for Eddie Joestar just to deal some chip damage out. But Wing Attack does horrendous amounts of damage. So we bring in Pichu and we Thunder Wave. Hopefully, yep, it hits us in Paralysis. We get Confused Raid ourselves, but we manage to push through it and take down Golbat. That brings in Magnemite, and Magnemite is annoying. So we hit it with Thunder Wave and we use its same strategies against it. We get paralyzed ourselves, but yeah, this is looking pretty bad. Now we're down at half HP. Sonic Boom is a 5-shot on us. And Thundershock's actually doing more damage than I was expecting, even though it's resisted. We do take out the Magnemite thanks to a very lucky paralysis at the end. That brings in Haunter. Now one Shadow Ball will take us down, but John Berger's the best Pokemon to take out this Haunter. We do get cursed, but that means we can just switch out on the Sneasel. And yes, I am not playing on set mode here. This challenge is already hard enough. We have lost so many times that I've not put a counter on it for that reason. But trust me when I say it, we're already in triple figures for the amount of times we've had to reset. This is also not a Nuzlocke, so yeah. This would probably be impossible as a Nuzlocke. You would have to have the best luck in the world to make this work. We can finally get through all the way to the Meganium, and we use a couple of hidden powers before we are down on very low health. Thankfully, he doesn't have any potions to recover his HP. We then get paralyzed, which is just never great, and then swiped out by Body Slam. Great, another reset. Probably looking, yeah, definitely at least looking in the hundreds right now. Definitely over 100 attempts and 100 losses we've had up to this point now. We didn't have many getting up to the mid-game, but the mid-game heading into this late game now, my god, it becomes so difficult. I sometimes do a lot of challenges on this channel, and I say, you know what, give this one a try because it's very fun. This one is not a fun challenge to do. You are going to lose a lot. You are going to rip your hair out. And I got to a point in this video where I was honestly thinking, I don't even want to do this video anymore, but we did persevere, we did push through to see how far we could get. And we get some incredibly interesting fights later on, which blew my mind of the luck that we got. And a lot of unlucky things as well. So, this time round, Handsome Re does incredible. We get the right paralysis look, the right confusion look, we charm. And that charm alone is just going to really help us out here. We Sweet Kiss it so it'll start hitting itself. We managed to set up our final -6 charm. And then, yeah, I'm actually going to switch back into Sunkern. It didn't do well last time round, but because we have reduced its attack ridiculously, Synthesis will recover all HP that we actually have to, like, that will take on damage. What also makes it good is the fact that we're using Growth. Our special attack is now at +6. So Mega Drains from here are going to do incredible damage. Well, not incredible, but more than they're actually dealing out to us. I can't remember if this Meganium actually has Synthesis itself, but it doesn't want to seem to use it. It just goes for Mega Drains. And Ben Levi takes down a fully evolved starter Pokemon. Yeah. You're probably seeing fights like this that you've never seen in Pokemon before or never even wanted to attempt, because who would in their right mind choose this team to do a run with? Apart from apart from guys like me on YouTube who apparently are very, very masochistic. Like, who would seriously, who would actually do this challenge apart from us crazy YouTubers? Really? Let me know down in the comments if you've ever actually tried a run like this before and how you actually got on with doing it. How long did it take you to do? Because these challenges take a long time to do, which is why I actually started recording these back in the summer of this year. Yeah, everything you are seeing throughout the month of RB December, I actually started recording mid-year this year. We've done a full month worth of videos. So that's 31 videos that you are seeing that I have been working on since the summer. I also, before we started December, I completed solo running every single Pokemon in Gen 1. So if you're looking for a very long playlist of over 150 videos, go check that one out on my channel, because that's taken me up to about 3 years just to complete alone. Beating the Rockets in the Rocket Side Quest, we can finally add our 6th team member to the team. And that, of course, is Delibird, which you can find in the Icy Path. You can also find it in Mount Silver. It's very low encounter though. And we're going to call our Delibird Snickers. Thank you for subscribing, mate. Welcome to the channel. And let's talk about Delibird for a while, because present, it only gets one move, and that is present. We are not giving it Icy Wind. We're not giving it Fly. It is only going to keep its move present. Present is a random move. Not the likes of Metronome where you can use any move possible. It's random in what type of damage it actually gives out. Not like Hidden Power though. It only gives out normal damage, but what it can do is also heal the Pokemon, as you've just seen on the Dragonair there. But what's random about it is its damage output. Sometimes it can do tiny bits of damage. Sometimes it can sweep an entire fight. It is completely random what type of damage you will actually get. And in this first attempt against Claire, I genuinely thought maybe we should actually take Delibird off the worst Pokemon list, because it just swept the entire team with present alone. Yeah. First attempt, swept the entire team with just a Delibird and present. That's either incredible luck or present is broken. Now, I didn't take it off the team. Because it's only got one move to work with, we can't hit ghost types. It's got random damage. So that attempt against Claire was pure RNG luck. So I think it's still fair to keep on the team. But I didn't realise that present had that sort of damage output. With 8 gym badges, we can now progress onto the Pokemon League, and we are very close to the level cap right now. We're probably going to have to come in and out of it as well, so that we can actually level up if we can't deal with one of the Elite Four members. But as long as I can beat the Elite Four member at that level cap, I feel like it's fair to come out if I lose and then go level up to the next level cap. Snickers gets taken down by Magneton. Because it's Ice Flying, it is weak to electric type attacks. And Ice Flying is not a great combination, really. It's why a lot of people say Articuno is not a good legendary bird because of its typing, but honestly, Moltres is just worse, so what can you say? Moltres is just definitely a worse legendary bird, especially in Gen 1 with its moveset. We are getting absolutely trashed by the rivals team here. Honestly, El Irvine has just been trashing us here. Even John Bird can't stand up to the Golbat because it has the move Bite, which is Darker type and super effective. And you can only take 5 of your Pokemon into this fight because you really need a Surf Pokemon to even get to Victory Road. So we're trying to do this with just 5 Pokemon. This time round, Snickers gets a one-shot on Sneasel to start off with, and then we switch into Handsomely for the Magneton. We've paralysed it. We're going to go for the Sweet Kiss, and then hopefully take it down from here with Thunder Shocks. It is probably going to be like a 12-hit KO from here, but with the confusion damage also helping us out, not the worst thing in the world. We get Thunder Waved ourselves, which we never want to see. We really never want to see that move on us, but we do get paralysed, so I can't really deal too much with that. Handsomely goes down, but we have got enough wiggle room to take out the Magneton. Well, at least it takes out itself. And then from here, this is where we realised, you know what? Present doesn't affect ghost types, so even if we decide to do a present only run in this generation, we would fail at any ghost type Pokemon. But we've been doing single move challenges in Gen 1 where they wouldn't hit ghost type Pokemon anyway, so we'll see maybe whether we add that to the list. We bring in our Igglybuff against the Golbat. We get it to sleep, we confuse it, and then we pound its face into the ground. Or at least we maybe pound fist it in the mouth, I don't know. Can I say that on YouTube? I don't know. Okay, Pound is dealing really good damage out against Kadabra. It's very defensively weak, and then that brings us to Meganium. We get hit by Future Sight, and Razor Leaf takes us down. Okay, we're in a bad position right now, but we can bring in Snickers, who can deal out big damage with Present, and if that wasn't the high roll, we probably would have lost that one as well. We're at the Pokemon League. Let's see how we do against Will. I'm astounded that this team of the worst 6 Pokemon has managed to get to the Pokemon League. Purely, I think, well, it's down to luck. Like, how lucky do you need to be to even get to this point with these bad Pokemon? Tyrogue can only learn Tackle. Delibird can only learn Present. We don't have much to work with, in all honesty. And our Pokemon are also not outspeeding their Pokemon. We've lost 2 Pokemon and we have to rely on Snickers, who gets low rolls. This is what I mean about Present. It is so random that you might just get low rolls completely. We bring in Eddie Joestar, who gets taken down immediately to 1 Psychic. And it's all on Ben Levi and Igglybuff again. We have only just beaten the second Xatu, and we've still got 3 Pokemon to go. I don't think that Igglybuff can do this. We're already at the level cap. And again, this is where another point where I thought this might be where our luck completely runs out and we just can't get past Will. Will, with a team like this, it is such a nightmare to deal with. But this time round, we get very lucky. We managed to get Sweet Kisses off. We managed to get them hitting themselves with confusion. We get them paralysed. And eventually, the first Xatu goes down to Pichu without us even taking any damage. Lovely Kiss misses, huge. We get Sweet Kiss off, huge. It's para-confused now. Thundershock is not doing too much, and then we managed to get confused again, and it's just hitting himself confusion constantly. Paralysis also works in our favour, and we've took down 2 of his Pokemon without taking any damage. Egg Bomb also misses. It doesn't have the greatest accuracy, and this is when I thought it's worth switching into another Pokemon to try and take the Psychic incoming. Next, of course, we go into John Berg, who's got super effective hits with his Hidden Power Ghost, and Egg Bomb deals out a lot of damage to us. We take down Executor, and that brings us into Xatu. If we can at least get 1 Hidden Power hit in, we're in a good position here to take it down with Pichu again. And this is when I realised how valuable Pichu is to this run. Thunder Wave, Sweet Kiss, Thundershock. There's not much that can resist us in this entire Pokemon League. The worst thing, of course, is getting hit. We don't want that to happen. Pichu needs to stay alive for us to win this fight, which it doesn't because it goes down to the next hit. So we go into Snickers, who actually, for some reason, even though it did very low damage, Present got a critical hit there and then heals the Xatu. This is why Present is an awful move. Slowbro comes out and we get some decent damage in, but you know what? We're in the right position now. If we can get it to sleep and we can confuse it, we can then bring in Sunkern to finish off the Slowbro, which is one of its only few good matchups in this entire region. We set up as many growths as we can. We're anticipating a big Psychic to be coming our way. It hits itself confusion, so we Mega Drain for the win. Yeah. The worst 6 Pokemon have just made their way through the first gauntlet of the Elite Four. But Koga is even worse. None of our Pokemon have got super effective moves here, apart from Pichu on the Crobat. We need to keep Pichu alive, but it's also our biggest player. Sweet Kiss, we can't even escape now. Spiderweb's been put up. It's pretty much just the bug type mean look. And he starts setting up double team as well. We managed to hit Sweet Kiss again, getting it confused, and eventually it does take itself out in confusion. That then brings in Fortress, and you know what? I'm anticipating that it's going to set up an explosion. So what can I do different here? Well, I'm still sticking with Pichu. Pichu here has now decent damage with Thundershock. Paralysis and Confusion's worked in our favour. And then that brings in Venomoth, who Toxics us, and that is the worst case scenario now. We are going to have to switch out. We switch out into John Berg, who can deal out decent damage with Hidden Power Ghost, but then we get poisoned again. Next is Crobat. Crobat then starts setting up double teams, another thing we don't want to see, but we need to start hitting it more and more, and we're just not getting that luck. We managed to hit 2 before Wing Attack takes us down. It set up a couple of double teams, so it's very unlikely Sing actually will hit here, but we actually do manage to hit it on the first turn. And then he goes for full restore. We get a Sweet Kiss off and he hits himself in Confusion, but this is where Sing starts missing a bit, and eventually we do get it back to sleep. And then he uses full heal. Yeah. Absolutely ridiculous. We get it back to sleep eventually. I'm very surprised that we've not taken more damage from this Crobat, but it has been asleep a lot. It tries to Toxic us. We get it back to sleep on the same turn. I'm very, very lucky with the amount of times that we're hitting these things with 55% accuracy after it's also set up double team. It shouldn't really be hitting this much at all. Incredible luck. Last up is the Muck, and Pound is doing such pitiful damage. Its own Confusion damage is dealing out more than our Pounds do. This is how bad Igglybuff's attack is, and then we get poisoned again. We managed to get it to sleep, and because we're locked into it, might as well just keep going and pounding away. I think Koga will have used all of its recovery items by now, so we just need to hold out and just keep chipping away. We bring in Eddie Joestar, who just keeps tackling away. It's not doing much whatsoever. Sludge Bomb comes in and pretty much one-shots us, and then Poison Damage also takes us down. Joestar nearly got us the win there. We finally bring in Pichu again to get the win, and yeah, we beat Koga. I'm surprised with that we got this far. Let me know as well, like, at what point in the video did you actually think I would fail? Because I thought I'd fail around the mid-game. I was beyond happy that I even got to the Elite Four. We've still got 3 very hard fights to deal with. And yeah, I actually started with Sunkern for this fight. Yeah, we are starting with Sunkern. We are going to set up our growths, and then we're going to Giga Drain our way through this, because Ben Levi can actually learn Giga Drain via level up, which is a problem in one sense because it has very low PP usage. So we need to hit hard and hit fast with it. Giga Drain manages to deal out massive damage to Hitmonchan, and as long as we can take out maybe half of his team with just Sunkern, we might be in a good position. But Hitmonlee comes out and high jump kicks us in the face, which is very, very, it's very rude. Eddie Joestar comes in against its older brother, and you know what? Because it's swaggered us and we are hitting through the Confusion, Eddie Joestar gets its first win against a Hitmonlee, which is, again, poetry in Pokemon, that. John Berg comes in against the Machamp. We can resist fighting type moves, so we can at least get a couple of hidden powers out before the max potion hits. Maybe we can tank one more cross chop, but as well, we've now just run out of hidden powers. So we struggle for our last bit of damage, and we've got 3 Pokemon left to deal with this. Present comes off on Snickers, and it takes, oh my god, Present is now not hitting the high rolls whatsoever. Really annoying. Handsome comes out, and we make sure at least we get a Thunder Wave in, and then we just go for Pound to try and finish off this fight. That then just leaves Onix, which I completely forgot about. Yeah. We need to make sure this thing hits itself Confusion. We don't see the Sandstorm damage coming our way. Sandstorm will wreck this Pokemon. And it's really annoying, because I actually thought I'd already beaten the Onix by this point. I thought beating the Machamp was the final Pokemon, and then Onix came out at the end, which is the worst matchup for this Igglybuff. Pound is resisted. We need to keep it asleep. And we've only got 15 uses of Pound left. We've kept it confused as well, which is good. So if it wakes up, it's a chance that it will hit itself. And yes, it does, which is good, which now means we can get back to sleep with Sing. And then pound it into the ground. This was incredibly lucky. And it took a long time for our Igglybuff to take down this Onix. But there we go. Bruno is defeated, and we move on to Karen. By the way, these aren't just the first attempts that I'm showing you where I'm winning each time. I lost a lot of times to these guys. The luck that you need to do some of these attempts is unbelievable. And because the video is already long enough as it is, I didn't want to show you loads and loads of failed attempts against these guys. So I'm showing you the attempts where the strategies worked up correctly. And of course we got the right luck to take down Pokemon without taking any damage, and Confusion hit them every single time. Which is incredibly very low chance to actually happen. Level cap for Karen is level 47. And when the Vileplume comes out, we know for a fact we can tank some good hits against the Vileplume's Petal Dance. So we're going to set up our growths. Annoyingly, we are paralysed, so we'll use Synthesis to get our HP back, and wait for Vileplume to hit itself in Confusion. Once we have fully set up on our growths, we can Synthesis back up to full HP, and hopefully from there we'll take out the Vileplume, but that also means that the Houndoom will come in next. And that Houndoom's going to be a problem. None of our Pokemon are really suited to take it on. Ben Levi does, folks. We don't get the right luck here. So we have to bring in another Pokemon, and I decide to bring in our Unknown and use Hidden Power Ghost to try and take it down. Petal Dance is dealing out really good damage, like annoyingly good damage on us. And I didn't think the Vileplume would be this difficult to take down. Next comes the Murkrow, and this is a bad matchup for us with Hidden Power Ghost. So I'm going to switch out and we're going to bring in... Oh, Pursuit, you asshole. And Present heals them. Yeah, that's just my luck really, isn't it? Oh, wow, this has gone really, really badly. Okay, so Handsome comes in. Thunder Wave, fair enough, manages to get it paralysed. And we get it Sweet Kissed as well. Thunder Shock will do big damage on Murkrow, but not enough to take it out. But it takes itself out in Confusion. That then brings in Gengar, and... this is really bad. We managed to paralyse it. We Sweet Kiss it as per normal. And Thunder Shock's really not doing all too much against it. I mean, it's also using Spite, which is lowering our PPs left. And then he takes himself out with Curse. So, okay, this is starting to look a bit better. And then Flamethrower hits. We can't outspeed it. Eddie Joestar, I don't think there's much it can do. It won't be able to tank Flamethrowers very well. And yeah, this is looking really bad. Now, unless we hit a Sing here, we have lost. We hit this Sing. That is the level of luck that we needed, and who would have thought that Igglybuff can get that sort of luck with Sing? And I'm anticipating it waking up, which it manages to do, but hits itself Confusion, so I go for Pound. And it's only one more hit. Can we do this? No, because the Max Potion is going to come out. And then full heals. I was expecting the full heal. That's why I was hovering around whether I should use Pound or not. We had to make sure that we got it back to sleep immediately. But that's the full heal wasted. It wakes up and confuses itself again. And we just go for it. And it hits itself in Confusion to get the win. Who would have thought Igglybuff brought that back from the brink? And this team of the 6 worst Pokemon have actually managed to reach the champion. Let's see how we do here. So Gyarados is out first, and of course Pichu is the best matchup here. Paralysis, Confusion, and then Quad Thunder Shocks get us the win quite easily against Gyarados. Next up is Dragonite. If we outspeed, we're okay. We do outspeed and we Sweet Kiss, which is very surprising we actually outspeed. And then we're just going to switch into Eddie Joestar. We're anticipating the Hyper Beam. Now, if the Hyper Beam does hit, it also means that we now get a free turn to use Sweet Kiss on them, because they have that recharge turn. We can also use Paralysis on them as well, but I'm just trying to take them out as quick as possible. And Confusion really works in our favour there. We paralyse them at the exact right time and Thunder Shock this Dragonite into the ground. This is a level 50 Pichu. And my god, this thing. I did a Pichu only run on this channel, and that Pichu was nowhere near as lucky as this one. Pichu got terrible moves, and I even gave it Thunder for more firepower, and it still never performed as good as this. But Pichu right now is pretty much soloing Lance on its own. We're getting so lucky with the Hyper Beam misses, but we switch into other Pokemon to get those recharge turns out the way. We deal a bit of chip damage out, and then Hyper Beam again mean we can go into Snickers. Can Snickers take out this Dragonite? No, because Fire Blast takes us down. We go back into Pichu, who again gets the Sweet Kiss off. This Pichu is... I'm going to just start calling it Lucky Handsomery. Like, crazy amount of luck here. He's used a full restore, so we use Thunder Wave, and he hits himself with Confusion again. And again. And then paralyzed. So, okay, this is fine. He's paralyzed twice in a row. We Sweet Kiss. He hits himself Confusion again. We've just taken down the level 50 Dragonite. And now comes Charizard. We miss the Hyper Beam. I cannot believe this Pichu's luck. It has missed every single Hyper Beam. It is hitting every single paralysis, every single confusion. And then finally at the Aerodactyl, a Rock Slide puts us on 1 HP. That still might matter, because we are super effective against this Aerodactyl. Thundershock deals out decent damage and it hits itself in confusion twice. This Pichu, absolutely insane. That is the most insane look I've ever had on this channel. Hands down, the most insane look whatsoever. Give a big round out of applause to Handsome Ree. That is an incredible attempt against Lance. And we actually have proven that in 16 hours 25 in-game minutes, a team of the 6 worst Pokemon of Gen 2 can beat the league. But can they beat the post-game? Yeah, we're going to attempt it. We're going over the Kanto, we're going to go against Blue, and then we're going to go against Red. Can we beat them with these terrible Pokemon? Let's find out. Let's go to Viridian Gym. So the obvious one with this one, Pidgeot, can be very annoying. We set it to sleep, we set Sweet Kiss, standard strategy now for this team. But it takes ages before Sweet Kiss actually manages to land. It's only got 75% accuracy, so I'm not too surprised by that, but we have been incredibly lucky, so maybe the lucks ran out. We made sure that when it wakes up we put it straight back to sleep, but we also get hit by a Mirror Move Pound. We're on quite low HP for our Igglybuff, but with enough luck we still manage to take it down with Pound. That then brings in Alakazam, and of course we're going to see a Psychic immediately. So we bring in John Berg, who's got Hidden Power Ghost. Great Pokemon to take on this Alakazam. It nearly one-shots, and we're already at the level cap of level 58. Rhydon is out next, and I might need to keep John Berg for the... I really should have kept that for the Executor. Okay, we're bringing Ben Levi. We'll use Giga Drain. That should be a one-shot on Rhydon. Rhydon's special defense is terrible. And, of course, it's 4 times weak to grass. So, not surprised Giga Drain managed to take it out. When Executor comes in, we Thunder Wave and Sweet Kiss on Handsome Ree. After that, I'm going to switch back out. We're going to go into Snickers, and hopefully Present can get us a win here, but it heals it up. Of course it heals it up. Present then deals out some damage, but it's a low roll. And then we get a high roll, which is pretty good to see. And then he uses full restore. Fantastic. Don't love to see that. We get another high roll and he wastes his full restores. This is actually working out pretty good. And then if... oh, come on, final Present? No. We miss it. Okay, so we've got Pichu, Tyrogue, and Sunkern left. Was it Sunkern? Yeah, I think we got Sunkern left. Handsome Ree comes in, we do the usual, and after quite a few attempts, we manage to Thundershock it into the ground with some confusion damage to finish off. That then brings in Arcanine, and Extreme Speed puts us on extremely low HP. This is looking terrible right now. Confusion damage is working in our favour. We're managing to keep it confused. And then from there, we just Thundershock and try and take it down. But ideally, I do want to keep Pichu for that final Gyarados. And my god, this Pichu's luck is unbelievable. We managed to take down the Arcanine, bringing us into Gyarados. And you know what? I'm going to hope that it goes for a Hyper Beam. Sorry, Eddie, but we needed that so we can actually get the Thunder Wave off reliably there. I wasn't confident that Pichu would outspeed that Gyarados. And once it's confused and paralysed, 2 Thundershocks will get us the win. Again, Pichu, MVP of this team. This has been a weird run. I actually really like doing these challenge videos where you give me these weird team matchups to try and complete a game with, and I've still managed to find a way to get to the late game. But it might all just end here because Red is a nightmare to deal with. Now, His Pikachu is not too much of a problem. It does miss its funders quite a lot and then likes to use his full restores up very, very early. So we're just going to keep going for tackle. There's nothing else that we can do on this Pikachu, and again, luck is on our side. We managed to get through the Pikachu without taking any damage, but the Espeon comes in and one-shots us with Psychic. So we bring in John Berg with Hidden Power Ghost, and we managed to take it out in 2 hits. This is looking alright so far, but the next Pokemon out is Snorlax. Now, Hidden Power won't hit Snorlax because it's Hidden Power Ghost. So we only have Pichu, Igglybuff, Sunkern, and Delibird left to work with. Pichu is perfect to set up the standards for us right now, where we paralyze him, we Sweet Kiss. And I don't want to use Charm because then he's not doing that much damage to himself in confusion damage. And what is this Pichu's luck? This Pichu's luck is unbelievable. I decide here to stick in with Pichu. We'll get the Thunder Wave off because most likely it's going to go for a Solar Beam. And then we go for Sweet Kiss. Confusion blocks the Solar Beam, and now we can switch into Snickers. Snickers here should be enough to work with to get rid of this Venusaur. That's all I need it for. It sets up Sunny Day, which is a bad thing to see. And Solar Beam is doing tons of damage. Worst thing we can see here is a Synthesis, and a low roll present really doesn't work in our favour. So we bring Pichu back in. We Sweet Kiss again. It hits us out with Confusion. My god, Confusion damage is just my friend today. We take it down with Thunder Shock. Bringing in the Blastoise, we Thunder Wave. I was very surprised that he didn't bring in Charizard next. But, of course, Pichu is Electric type and Charizard is Fire type. Maybe it was looking at the Pokemon anime where Pikachu beat out Charizard and was just like, nah, I ain't looking at that little yellow rat. I'm going to just let Blastoise take it. Blizzard takes out Ben Levi, but we've done more than enough. We've got 2 Pokemon left to deal with here. And it's Pichu and Igglybuff versus Blastoise and Charizard. I can't believe he left Charizard to last. Flamethrower does tons of damage, but we get the Thunder Wave off and then hit Sweet Kiss. Can we do it from here? We might not even need to use Igglybuff at this rate. We go for Sweet Kiss and it hits. And my god, with our final Thunder Shock, we get the win. Yes, the team of the 6 worst Pokemon in Pokemon Gold, Silver and Crystal can actually beat the game. I was shocked. Because in Gen 1, the worst Pokemon could not do it. But in Gen 2, they can. They can do this. And this took us so long to do. But let's give a big thanks to our subscribers for this. Eddie Joestar, our Tyrogue, who's got Tackle and Flash. We didn't use Flash. It was a HM move just to get through Mount Silver. John Berg, our Unknown. Honestly, if this thing had not got Hidden Power Ghost, again, this might not have been possible. Next up, of course, is going to be our Snickers Delibird, who only has the move Present. It really helped us out for the Claire fight, but after that, really didn't do much. Handsomely, the MVP, our Pichu. Oh my god, I can't believe how lucky this little mouse is. Incredible luck. Thundershock, Charm, Sweet Kiss and Thunder Wave. That's all you need to win this game. Jib Jamyan, our Igglybuff, and Sing, Charm, Sweet Kiss, Pound. Probably the second most reliable member of our team, and look at how bad those stats are. And then Ben Levi, our Sunkern, who had its moments, really did work out very, very well. But I'm stunned. The worst 6 Pokemon can beat Pokemon Gold, and we did it at 20 hours and 11 in-game minutes. That's incredibly long. If you got to this point in the video, guys, please smash the like and subscribe. I think I deserve it after that video, you legends. And we will see you tomorrow for another challenge run. Take care.